Namaste. How are you? Namaste, namaste, Divya. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Namaste.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Very good. So today, let me tell you that we've got so many people who've signed up for this webinar of yours, and this is going to be so interesting. Let me just welcome all the guests who are here already. There's Harmeet, and welcome Harmeet, welcome Nandini ji, Lalita, Dinesh, Surabhi, Vani, Parul, Shiv, Sir, Sunita, Usha ji. So many people are here, and then people are signing up right now. So, welcome all my friends who are here. I'll quickly introduce myself. I don't have a very formal introduction today because this is a different realm altogether. We're talking about chakras, and here I'm a seeker. Here I'm a learner, and I have nothing much to talk about this particular topic in person. My name is Mohit Aggarwal. I am the founder of Asian Adventures, which is on a mission to protect elephants, elephant corridors, free the Himalayas of plastic waste, and help small wildlife NGOs. This is a conservation travel company, and it was started in 1994. We've completed 28 years. It has the largest bird watching um, tour business share in India, and we completely nature centric travel company, and now we've got a new program launch called Earthwalks, which I'll tell you about in one of my emails. The intent of this webinar is to have my mentor Divya talk to you about the science of chakras and what she's been doing. There's been some path breaking information that will come your way from her, and this is what you're going to enjoy. So, I'm not going to get deep into that because um, that's not my forte and that's hers. I'm just a learner and I'll continue to learn as I go along. We've got some old friends, some new friends, and I'm going to quickly introduce Divya from my phone. Oh man, that's too long. Sara padu, pura padu. Okay, just give me a second.
You can just say whatever you know about me.
Yeah, okay. She's a yoga and Ayurveda wellness coach. She she has extensively worked with all age groups of people, helping them to achieve sustained better health. She has been taking therapeutic yoga practices over 8 years and teaching the essence of yoga in young children. Her specialty is in chronic ailments like Parkinson's, arthritis, spinal issues, diabetes, and hypertension, along with general health management. She has completed her master's in science in yoga therapy, has completed various anatomy courses under the guidance of Dr. Rob Lampert, a chiropractor from Italy. She has completed the Ayurveda wellness course and is a student of Vedanta. Her journey has been inspiring for many. She has transformed her own life through yoga and Ayurveda and is imparting the same knowledge to others to achieve a state of better physical and mental health. And I'll tell you, this is 100% true because Divya and I spent some time together in Sivananda Ashram last year when we were doing a basic course in Ayurveda. And she has gone much deeper into it now. And we've discussed over a period of time how Ayurveda is the essence to good health, key to good health in our lives in India, especially when we have the knowledge and the know-how. And but we've sort of underestimated. In fact, the doctors today are saying, the Ayurvedic doctors themselves are saying that it's second to allopathy because the way it's being treated, whereas it should be number one. And well, I won't go deeper into it. If you want to know some basic hacks, you can call me, and if I don't know them, I'll just direct you to the doctor. So go on, Divya, and show your magic.
Namaskaram. Can you all hear me? Am I clearly audible?
Type yes, friends, if you can hear Divya properly.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. Wait for a second because the transmission takes a bit of time. So it's
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Okay. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Go
Thank you.
ahead.
Thank you so much. So before I begin, we'll start with a small mantra. As Mohit has already said, I'm a yoga teacher. So a mantra is a very important aspect for us to start with. All of you bring your hands in Namaskara Mudra. Keep your mind just open today with completely emptying it with whatever knowledge you already have. Just keep it aside and come here, listen to me with an empty bucket and take as much as possible. Um, um, श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub your palms. Okay. So the topic is chakras. And all of us probably would have heard this topic, and that's the reason all of you are here to listen to it, learn chakras, and learn practices that can balance chakras. So, first thing, I want to clear one question that when I had sent this link to people, and the first question came to me was, are you going to teach us practices to heal our chakras? First thing is that I'm not going to teach any practices in this session because it is not supposed to be practiced just like that. There are a lot of preparations that you need to be done first, then you can enter into the practice part. So today is an introduction to it, and understand that it is not a magical concept. It is not an alien concept. It is something that is existing in each and every one of us. It's a very basic thing, just like how our existence is. The only thing is we should be getting a little awareness over it so that we can find some shortcuts to help ourselves in terms of physically and mentally, emotionally. So, coming to the question, chakra. Before I start explaining, I want this session to be a little interactive. I want to understand what are the different terms you have heard about chakras. What, according to, is chakra? Can you just type it down, few at least? Any idea? Anyone? What happens when chakra rises? Chakra opens up. It's a wheel. Okay. Lymph nodes. Okay. Energy centers in the body. Okay. How many chakras do we have? Energy. Okay. How many chakras? Moving energy. Seven chakras. Everybody knows seven chakras. Okay. So energy centers and seven chakras. Now let me just go back to, okay, I've got seven chakras. Good. There are actually 112 chakras, not just seven. 112. And now coming to what are chakras. So there is a concept called as nadis in the body. All of you would have heard that nadi parikshan, nadis. So there are around 72,000 nadis. So the closest connection that if I can give in terms of the anatomy language or the local English language, it is they are like your electricity wires. Okay, the wires that carry electricity, something like that, or wires that carry energies. So there are around 72,000 wires just inside your body and on the skin, on the outer part of your skin. So all of there are around, so 72,000. Now in these 72,000, just imagine they're like roads, they're like wires. If you have 72,000 roads in your body, they will intersect at some place, right? They have to. You can't have parallel roads everywhere. So these roads come and intersect, and these intersections are known as chakras. Okay, because now these are energies, these are electricity, they are passing, and when this flow and this flow comes together and they meet at a junction, at a signal more, prominently, you will have a lot of different movements. Okay, that intersection is known as chakras. So there are around 112, and out of which 108 is possibly inside the body and the rest is outside the body. Out of these 108, the seven chakras are the most prominent ones or the most talked about ones. The reason behind, they fall on one of the most important nadi of the body, which is your spinal cord or your spine. And at the same time, they connect with multiple organs, multiple parts of the body. So if you look at these seven chakras position, they're very closely connected to the strong marma points also. So the placement of these chakras are such that you are connecting it to a certain organ, or somewhere few organs meet together and there are tendons coming, there is joint coming, there is bone coming. So a lot of things together, but these points are very subtle. They are very, very fragile. If you hurt it, you are hurt big time. You will be in lot of pain. So these are all vital marma points of the body. Now, about these seven chakras, we all know there are. So whenever we talk about these chakras, we always start from low to up, or rather from lower chakras to the upper chakras. Now, where is the first chakra situated? Who knows that? Root chakra or the Mooladhara? Where exactly does it, the seat of the chakra is? Any answers? Is it the tailbone? It's a perineum. Okay, exactly, that's the spot. It's the base of the spine. It's the perineum muscle. Now, where is this muscle situated? It's a muscle which is delicate for men, for women, for every human being. It is that muscle which is in between your anal muscle and your urinal muscles. So, in between both the genitals, there is a very soft spot. That is your root. You're sitting, when you sit down, you actually sit on that. So, that is known as the root of the body, the perineum. So, root chakra is situated there. Now, let's talk about root chakra first. Then we'll move on to one by one each chakras. Now, when it comes to root chakra, I will want to go to a human being's life cycle. Okay, because when you say about root, when you start about beginning, you need to go back to beginning. So your root chakra, or rather all your chakras, are basically active as and when you're born. How many of you agree that, or do you think that you need to activate chakras to be alive, or for functioning, or when, or it is never active, you have to make some efforts and make it active? How many of you just say yes if you believe that your chakras are always active? Just type Y. So only one person says that it is always active. So others are saying that they are not active. Okay. So if you say they're active, okay. Okay. Why do you think they're active? Any one liners? I wish it is active. Okay. So why and how it is active? See, these are nadis, right? Nadis are your more closer to your nervous system. So your nervous system is there as and when you're born, right? Or before even you're born, by the time you're in the fetus posture and you're growing in your mother's womb, you already see that your nervous system is building up. So if they are building up already, that means the intersections are already present, which means nadis, which means the chakras are always active. Now, then, what is the meaning of activation chakra, Kundalini Jagran, and all of that? From where does these questions come into picture, or where does these terms come into picture? So, we'll go back to the basic first moment when you're about to be born, or rather, when you start, when you're conceived itself. So, when you're conceived in yoga, there is a term called as you are conceived with your samskaras or your karma phalas, which means you already have taken a certain amount of baggage from your previous janmas, and you're going to be taking birth in this janma to clear off the baggages. That's the whole idea. Now, when you're coming in with your own baggage, when you're getting conceived, you're carrying one more person's or two more person's baggage along with you. Now, who are they? They're your parents. In Ayurveda, it is beautifully said, all your tridosha problems, just put it on your parents, because it's because of them that you've got it. So the same thing applies here. When a child is conceived, the whatever the emotions your mother has, whatever the emotions your father has, all of that gets into the sperm and the ovum, and it is conceived with you. So now let's come to the concept of root. The moment you're conceived, the root has started becoming active. The reason behind the root is the security system, or that is what it denotes to, security, safety. So now when the child is growing in the mother's womb, what is it demanding? It is demanding security, safety. It knows that that womb is the most safest place for the child. And then the child comes out and the child gets into the world, and immediately the child says, oh, this is not the secure place, and the child starts crying. Immediately when the child starts crying, what is the first tendency of a parent to be? You will take the child up. You are not immediately feeding the child. You take the child up, hold the child close to the body, and then you pat the child, and then whether you want to go ahead and feed, or you want to do aha, ooh, mama, whatever you want to do, you will do that later. What is that sensation of lifting the child and getting the child close to you? What are you trying to do to the child? You're trying to give the comfort, the warmth, the presence that you are safe. That's the sensation that you're giving it to your child. Now, when that happens, the security system of that child's conscious and subconscious mind is built. Okay. Now, what happens if you were, or rather, your parents were in distress? Okay. Issues, fight, and you got conceived. Or there is a lot of fear and you got conceived. Your mom was in fear, mom was in pain, she got conceived. Now, what happens is, whether she likes it, she doesn't like it, whether you like it, you don't like it, all that fear, all that insecurities have got into you along with your conceive. And then when you come out with it, you need a lot more security than what was expected out of a newborn. Now, what happens if, in case, you come out and you're not getting that kind of a security? Okay, you've born into a middle class family, your parents are busy working, so somewhere she comes and pats you, then she goes, sorry about that, then she goes out, she's working, you are feeling insecure, you start crying. There are some kids who keep crying all the time, wanting the awareness, wanting that warmth, wanting that parents to be around all the time. Why does that happen to certain kids and not to all the kids? So these are the small indications that your children give you, or we have given it to our parents, in terms of understanding the sense of security and safety. Now, the age group that the root chakra is dominant, I will use the word dominant rather than using active and all of that, because the chakras are always active. It's only at a certain age the dominance of chakras change over a period. So the dominant level of root chakra is from the day you are conceived to around 8 years period. That's the time when that's the time you'll see all the psychologists say that you are supposed to give as much as love, warmth to your child. The conscious mind is still building everything, the child is perceiving from the right brain. So give as much as possible love to the child, warmth to the child, so the child feels secure. Now there are two things that happens to a chakra. One, or rather three things. One, it is balanced. Okay, how much ever the child required a security, the child has received it, not more, not less. Happy child. Now what happens, not every child is in that level. Some children are not able to get the amount of security and warmth the child deserved or needed at that point. Not the deserve, sorry, my mistake, but what the child needed at that time. So what happens, the child is craving for it more. The child's chakras are contracted or constricted. Then what happens, the third category is where the person was extremely, you know um, given a lot of love, a lot of toys, everything in excess, no control at all. The child has never heard the concept called no in life. Whatever he or she demands, everything is given to the child. Now when that kind of a situation arises, the child's chakras are overly expanded. Okay, so you have either a contracted chakra or an overly expanded chakra or the balanced chakra. These are the three options that your chakras will be having. Now let's look at, so this is about when it is dominant. But now none of us are at the age of 0 to 8 here. All of us are in adult age. How will you connect yourself with the root chakra? So there are a few questions you need to ask to understand what's going on into your body and how do you connect to it. So when you have certain issues in the lower part of the body. So now as the seat of the chakra is your perineum muscle, anything below that is associated with your root chakra. Those who have been struggling with leg issues, what all the problems can be, there are knee pain, ankle pain, heel pain, calf pain, thigh pain, not able to walk, born with some disorders with the legs. There can be sciatica pain going down into the legs. Then there are I'm not talking about injuries that you get, something that you've been struggling with plus 2 years. Anytime before, I mean, once you cross the 2 years of pain, it comes down to mind. It is, the reason is not the body, the reason has gone into the mind. You need to identify that concept. So you need to see what are the ailments that you are currently struggling with. If you have any, if you don't have any issues, this is great. So the idea of this class or this session is not about finding problems with you. Okay, that's the first thing one should understand. It is not about finding problems, it is just about creating an awareness. Where do my physical body stand and where is my mental body? Do I have a connection between the both? That is what you're trying to understand in today's session. So when you're looking at lower back pain, is not root chakra per se. We'll come to the lower back pain. So here we are looking at something which is going down. So hip pain to down, when you're looking down towards still your feet, walking disorders, varicose veins, all of these issues will come under your root chakra. Now this is the physical problem. Now how do you connect it to the mental issues or mental problem or mental stability practice aspects? When you're looking at root chakra, we always say grounding is the answer. What do you mean by grounding? So material matters is what the statement is used for root chakra. What do you mean by material? We say a person becomes very materialistic when it comes to exaggerated root chakra. If it is a contracted root chakra, the person is disinterested in materials, doesn't want to have any assets, nothing at all, one house, one family, happy with whatever is happening. So that is also a concept. So now we are looking at how materialistic prone you are. So when you go into shopping mall, or when you plan to buy something, when you go there, do you tend to pick up what you've gone for, or do you tend to pick up, oh, this is also good, that is also good, ye abhi nahi chahiye lekin kaam aa ja sakta hai, so I'll pick that up. So do you have a tendency to go and pick up many more things than what you actually needed, or you just go and pick what you need and you come back? Or do you go and you always have a saying that, no, I don't need anything, I don't need anything, I don't need anything? So all these different kinds of perceptions that you create about yourself and what you feel about yourself denotes down to our root chakra, how materialistically active we are or how constricted our chakra is. Now, once you've identified this, now the next question is, how do I connect what happened to me? So now I have a leg problem, I have a knee issue, I am struggling with my knee issue since last 5 years or 6 years or whatever number of years. Okay, so I identified that, okay, it is my root chakra problem. Okay, now you've told me to identify about the materialistic things. No, I'm not very material. I look at only very whatever I need, I will go pick that up and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm balanced in mental state, but with respect to my knees are always giving you a problem. Okay, now in that case, the question then you need to ask is, how are your relationship with your parents? There is the question. When you are saying that I have a very good relationship with my parents, good to know. Are you able to talk what exactly you feel like to your parent? Like pick up the call and say, oh, Amma, this, oh, Dada, this. Are you able to do that? Because any given point of the time, you are a kid to your parents. You should be able to talk your mind openly to the parent. Or do you think twice before you talk? Or then you have a conversation. Okay, how are you? Did you eat? Did you drink? Did you sleep? Did you go to the doctor? Did you take your medicines? Okay, now next, what should I ask? Do you have a question like that in your mind? How comfortable are you in terms of expression with your family? When your family comes, root chakra comes, it's your parents and your siblings. Are you able to talk to them openly? If not, then you need to go back to your 0 to 8 years and see what happened there. Did you want a hug and did you get it? Or you didn't get it? You wanted your mother to stay with you, but she was working. You wanted your dad to sit and play with you, but he was always busy. Did you get that kind of attention or not? What are the things that you want to tell them, but you don't tell them? So these are the questions that you're going to ask. You're going to look at the relationship with your family if you have any problems from your hips to your feet. That will give you answers in terms of your security and your safety. Any questions still here? Do I make sense? All too silent? Now, we move ahead. Okay? We go to the next chakra, which is the Swadhisthana chakra. Swadhisthana, the term itself is so beautiful. It's the swad of life. It's a taste. It's a pleasure of life. It's your sacral chakra. Now, when you say sacral chakra, let's look at where is the position of the sacral chakra. It is 3-finger. In Marma, when we check the measurement in the body, it is 3-finger. When we say we don't check here, the 3-finger distance is this. So the 3-finger distance below your navel and above your pubic bone is your sacral chakra, below the navel. And I will clear the doubts once we finish the 7 chakras. Otherwise, I will not complete it by 7 o'clock. I'll pick up the questions. We'll do it a little later. If you have any, please, Mohit, someone make a note of doubts respected to each chakra. Okay. So coming.
There's a Q&A section where you can put your question and we'd be able to answer there. There's a right next to chat. There's Q&A only, and then you can put your questions there.
Yes. Okay. So coming to Swadhisthana, I was saying it is 3-finger above your pubic bone and 3 finger below the navel. Okay, that's the place of Swadhisthana chakra. It's known as sacral chakra in English. Now, I was saying the swath of life. What is the swath of life? So, the moment that comes into picture, everybody thinks about, oh, the lustful factor, the relationship between a husband and a wife, or the relationship that you create. Now, when does this begin? It starts from the age of 8, when all the hormones from the head is getting released slowly into the body, getting ready for the puberty. So the age bracket for Swadhisthana chakra to be dominant is from the age of 8 to around 16. So most of the kids get their puberty by that age, whether it is a boy or it's a girl. Now, this is the bracket when you're supposed to be actively looking at this chakra. Now, what does this chakra denote? It denotes to creation. So now let's look at, when it says creation itself, which are the organs situated there? The first, your genitals. You have your uterus for women, the ovaries for women, prostate for men. There is kidneys, there is bladder, there is a part of large intestines. So if you look at all the flowing downwards organs are situated there. So your all enzymes from the body, urine, defecation, your enzymes from the genitals, all of that is flowing downwards there. So here, what happens at the age of 8 to 16 is, the moment puberty happens, the interest from the parents reduce, and you slowly move on to your friends become more active, more important in life. Then you have more number of friends coming into, some friends become special friends, some friends become not so special friends. So likes, dislikes come into picture. Your attraction increases towards the opposite sex. All of that happens. Now what happens, what problems can happen here? If the child has a constricted root chakra, which means the child, because of the need of the child's security was high and it did not get satisfied at that very age group, the child entered the age of 8 and plus. Now the child wants more attention from others, because whatever is not being satisfied in the root is also been added to the sacral, and the sacral chakra is now demanding more and more attention from outside the family people. Now, if it was balanced, the child will slowly reach the puberty, will have decent amount of friends, no very special affections, the balance, because the child will get into an understanding that creation, though it is ready, I am not ready to procreate. That self-awareness is built up. But if the child has not, if the child did not get that security in the childhood, in the root chakra period, then the requirement to procreate will also be very high when the child enters this age group. Then you will see a lot of boyfriends and girlfriends coming into picture. People come, people walk out, kids get abused, kids, there are so many things that happen to the children. Molestation, all of that, whether it is with words or with actions, there are multiple things that have, and it's not only meant for girls. We all know that it is meant for boys and girls. So it's basically the age group that is. Now, if you have a scar of these kinds during the age group of 8 to 16, it's going to be there in the subconscious mind very, very strong. It will have its ripple effect, the snowball effect, as you keep growing up. So now the root chakra is imbalanced, the sacral is also gone imbalanced, and now you're going to grow up. Now, if the sacral chakra is balanced, you have a pretty decent root chakra. From there, a sacral chakra is balanced. You grew up in your puberty with good awareness, made decent friends, got a good support system. You will see the next chakra is also balanced. But if it was overly sensitized, then you will see that the child has fear and aversion and guilt. Everything comes down to guilt. Everything comes down to fear. Fear of people, fear of making friends, fear of identity, fear of love. There will be a lot of fear of different kinds all going into the head. So this is the sacral chakra. Now coming to the current age. How do you identify if your sacral chakra is a problem? If you remember, generally from 8 to 16, all of you remember what you've done. If you've known that, okay, I was a completely pervert at that time, then you know that, okay, sacral chakra was overly exaggerated. Now if you feel that, okay, no, I was always scared and I was always living in fear of what parents will say, what people will say, if always the fear persists, then you know that, okay, I'm really scared in opening up in my relationships, opening up in my opening up with my partner and all of that. So, coming to the current situation, what questions will you ask to yourself? The next question that you're supposed to ask is, how is my relationship with my partner? The first question. Now, if you don't have a partner, today many people are divorced. There are many people who are single in live-in relationships. There are multiple forms of relationships available today. Where do you fall under? Why do you fear to get into a committed relationship? If you are, if you got divorced, why did you get divorced? What were the reasons? You keep asking such questions. What sort? And generally the answer comes down to fear and guilt. These are the two answers. In my last 10 years of practices on chakras, I have analyzed multiple things, multiple aspects, multiple people, and we've come down to the awareness saying that it comes down to some amount of fear and a lot of guilt in many people. So you need to ask questions about yourself in the current state and find out. Now, here in sacral chakra, as I said, it is creation, it is creativity. So when you talk about creation, it is not only about your partner. Something you get created, that's your child, your children. If you have children, the relationship, you might have a fantastic relationship with your partner. But when it comes to your child, you're always scared of your child. Not that the child is going to fight with you or anything, but will something bad happen to the child? You're overprotective mothers, overprotective fathers, always worrying fathers, always worrying mothers. All of these come into sacral chakra. Now the problem is when you keep doing it, worrying it again and again and for a long period of time, then women start getting uterus issues, ovaries issues. So earlier the problem was the cyst was inside the ovaries. Now recently, not recently, in last actually 20 years, there is a new disease, cyst comes outside the ovaries. It's called as endometriosis. There are today a major concern in the medical industry is two cancers. One is an ovarian cancer. The second one is a prostate cancer. One for men and one for women. Then if you look at infertility, very high in today's generations. Why and how is the question? Why are the numbers increasing this much? What is going wrong here? You ask questions to your own self. Bladder issues. Now, when I kept talking about bladder, some of them said, okay, my bladder is fine. How do you understand whether your bladder functions well or not? A very simple technique is if you feel empty when you pee, or do you struggle to pee, or do you hold on to your pee, or there is a lot of pressure when you're peeing, all of that subtle things you should come to know that, okay, I have some issue with my sacral and let's figure out what. Are you able to communicate to your spouse easily, or something else only runs in your mind and you say something else? Are you able to communicate to your children freely? These are the questions that you need to ask if you need to understand how is your sacral chakra. The another thing today, which is very, very common, making love has become a very outdated concept. Making love with your partner has become very outdated concept. Sorry, I should put it that way. Today, when you're making love with your partner, there's something else going on to the head. Either it's about your work or cleaning for a woman or some other guy or some other man. So your mind is somewhere else and your action is somewhere else. So many people, too many aspects, something like as vaginismus is a new ailment which is getting identified. Probably it would have been existing, but today we are coming to know about it. What is that? Pain while having intercourse or pain while making love. Why is the pain generating? And it's a pure psychosomatic disease. Why is these kind of diseases coming into picture today? The problem arises from the 8 to 16 years. 8 to 16 years, when the puberty began, what all you have gone through mentally, emotionally, plays a major role in terms of how your sacral organs are. How easily can you flow through your life? Are you rigid? Do you get scared when you need to shift from one house to another house, or one city to another city, one country to another country? Or are you a person that you're always on a roll? Today we call it another term for them, the travelers vlog, people who love traveling. People are always hippies outside. If you are a person like that, then you should know that there is a problem with the sacral. There is a problem with the spouse. There is a problem somewhere at the age of 8 to 16, which probably you've just suppressed it somewhere. So, this is the way you start asking questions and identify what's going on with that very specific organ and that very specific chakra, and how do you find solutions for it. To find solutions, one needs to first ask questions: what are the problems with it? And the problems today are all, most of the time, are psychosomatic, unless it's a accident or a viral disease or a bacterial disease. Anything else today is categorized as a psychosomatic disease, something that arises from the mind. In my class, I always say it is 60% mind and 40% body. What the body is showing you is only a symptom. It is not the cause. Cause is somewhere else. Okay, so as I keep saying this, keep connecting. If you have questions, make notes of them, and then at the end we'll discuss. Moving on to the next chakra. The first three chakras is the one that takes a lot of time. Rest is much easier. The next one is the Manipura chakra, the solar plexus. It's 3 fingers above the navel and 3 fingers below your sternum or below your heart chakra, 3 fingers below. It's a very easy place to identify. When you get scared or when you get very happy, we have a very beautiful term that we use: butterflies in the tummy, fire in the belly. The butterfly and the fire both happens at the Manipura chakra, at the solar plexus. Now, what does this chakra denote to? We say the I, the ego, the identity lies there. The I, the ego, the identity. So, from which age does that happen? From the age of 15 to 16, the child becomes a little rebel. You'll see the behavior of the child changes. Then what does the parent say? Oh, he's a teenager now. But he's entering and creating his own identity at that time. From the age of 16 to around 26 is the age, right? I'm not making a mistake. Yes, 16 to 26 is the age bracket when a person is supposed to create an identity for himself, herself. Okay, now what happens at this age and how does the chakras play an important role? Now, during this period, you will see the pitta increases in the body. Okay, people start getting pimples if you've got it. But generally, you'll see children generally get pimples at that age. It shows that the heat of the body is rising. Now, when the heat of the body is rising, the child is looking for what am I doing, what I want to be. The child has its own decisions. I want it this way, I don't want it this way. मुझे ये करना है, मुझे वो नहीं करना है. The identity starts getting created. But if you have a contracted root chakra or a contracted sacral chakra, the child's identity confidence level is a little low. मुझे नहीं पता मुझे क्या करना है, मुझे नहीं पता मुझे साइंस लेना है या मुझे कॉमर्स लेना है या मुझे आर्किटेक्ट बनना है या ये करना है वो करना है, मुझे नहीं पता. अब जो बोलो मैं घुस जाता हूँ उसमें, मैं पढ़ लूंगा. There's always confusion, no clarity, no confidence, low confidence. All of these are contracted chakra. Overconfidence, iska sabka opposite is expanded Manipura chakra. Overconfidence, I will do it on my own. There is another thing that happens. When your sacral chakra, your puberty period, if you've struggled a little or a lot and you've created a barrier around you, you've created like a strong wall that whatever happens, I will handle it on my own. When the time that actually it progresses towards the age of 16 plus, and by the time you reach that age, you start saying that no, I know to handle my life. I will not need support. I can do everything on my own. I'm capable of it. That's not ideally a human being is supposed to be. We are all social animals. We give and take. We need relationships to have a balanced life. And that's the whole idea of having a grahastha at the age of 25. That you start having relationships. If you can handle everything on your own, then we would have all not been here. So, the way you create your identity is also to be checked on. Do you have an identity crisis in yourself going on? You wanted to be one, you became something else, you like something else. So many people, no, today careers just change. You studied for something, you became something else, now you're doing something else. Another 10 years down in the line, you're going to do something else. So much of variation. The question to be asked is why so much of variation? Why I cannot stick to one? Now, is it good to stick to one or is it not good to stick to one? There is nothing like that good or bad here. See, what I'm telling here is only indicative concepts. This is not like a final statement. Every person is at a different stage of life. So one has to understand its own behavior, and but when you ask yourself right questions is the only time you can find the right answers. So identifying questions is what we are doing here. What sort of questions am I going to ask myself if I have to look at my identity? Do I get fear? How often do I get fear? Oh, I have to say a presentation today. Are you getting scared? Are you confident enough that you'll make it? You'll say it. So these are the so this is something that I had a conversation with me before I started this webinar. So such questions you keep asking yourself, you get an answer, and then you know that okay, I'm confident about myself. Whatever I am, I'm okay. And you'll see that by the age of 26, no, you are fine with what you are. थोड़ा आगे पीछे ठीक है, लेकिन मैं खुश हूं. Okay. Now the next, okay, the organs. Sorry, I missed that. The organs are a clear indication if you have a problem with your identity. The first and the most important, very very common, is acidity. If you have acid reflux, acidity, indigestion, overdigestion, underdigestion, all the three categories of problem of digestion. If you have any of that, then you know that your identity is a problem. You're struggling somewhere. There's some sort of fear. When you get scared, your stomach churns. Some people have this habit. They have exams. The previous night, they get fever. Or some get loose motion. So before they write down the paper, they have to go to the bathroom and then go to write the exam. So these small things that we just ignore, saying, oh, stress hai. No, so common. No, सबके पास stress है. बहुत common है आज. So this stress, what is it doing to you? Asking these questions will give you the answer. Anything related to your stomach, your liver, fatty liver, gallbladder issues, stones in gallbladder, duodenum, जो small intestines का opening है, pancreas, so diabetes वगैरह ले लो, identity issue है. फिर look at your small intestines, leaking gut बोलते हैं आजकल, जो nutrition absorption में जाना चाहिए वो ऐसी blood stream में आ जाता है. So small intestines problem, ama issue in Ayurveda, if you've known anything about ama, toxins, metabolic toxins accumulation, lack of absorption of nutrition in the body. आप खा रहे पालक खा रहे लेकिन iron नहीं है body में. So all that lack of absorption, all of these issues come under, even to a certain extent, large intestines come under your solar plexus, Manipura chakra. Okay, so we've talked about the mental aspects, we've talked about the physical aspects. So this is how you simply ask yourself कि ये प्रॉब्लम्स है मुझ में, एसिडिटी है, तो हाँ कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है मणिपुरा में, क्या है पता नहीं, ठीक है, लेकिन आइडेंटिफाई तो हो गया कि मणिपुरा में कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है. The next thing that you need to ask is, how many masks do I wear when I'm with people? Do I have a different mask for my this friend circle? Do I have a different mask for my family? बच्चों के लिए अलग सा मास्क, पति के सामने अलग सा मास्क, फ्रेंड्स के सामने अलग सा मास्क, ऑफिस में अलग मास्क, हर जगह पे अलग अलग मास्क है क्या? अभी के टाइम पे है क्या, इज द क्वेश्चन. जितने ज्यादा मास्क उतना ज्यादा सोलर प्लेक्सस इज इन प्रॉब्लम. जितना कम मास्क, सब जानते हैं कि हाँ तुम ऐसे हो, ये है तुम्हारी असलियत, कोई ज्यादा एडजस्टमेंट्स नहीं है, मैनिपुलेशन नहीं है, तो ठीक है, गुड. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट यू शुड लुक एट. Okay, now we come to the next chakra, which is your heart chakra. So यहाँ पे rib cage एक हड्डी पे जाके टच होता है. Okay, this is known as sternum, and below the sternum there is a small soft dent kind of a place just below the sternum here. You can all feel it. That dent is a very, very soft space. That space is your heart chakra. Okay, now we come to heart. When does the heart chakra become dominant? It starts becoming dominant when you reach an age of 25. And from there to around 36 tak heart chakra ka period hai, dominance ka. Now what happens at this age? Transformation begins. अगर आप देखते हो नीचे से अभी तक, रूट चक्रा फैमिली, मैं, मेरा प्यार, मुझे हक चाहिए. सैक्रल चक्रा फैमिली हो गया, फ्रेंड्स चाहिए. मणिपुरा चक्रा आइडेंटिटी, तो अभी लोगों से एक्सेप्टेंस चाहिए, है ना. व्हेन आई डू समथिंग, व्हेन आई एम बिकमिंग समथिंग, आई नीड पीपल to accept me what I'm doing, right? If I'm becoming a teacher, people should accept me as a teacher. So acceptance from people. Now when you come to this chakra, I is reduced, you becomes a little more active here. That is the time you're ready to be married now. And that is the time when you say you're reaching the grahastha jeevan stage, age of 25. What happens at the age of 25? The first thing is transformation begins. What is the transformation? Now from I, me, my likes, I am okay to look at what you want. What are the likes you have? Okay, you like to eat that, I'll make that. Or you want to do this, I will take you there. So you start getting into yours more than mine. And that is the transformation beginning. The place where the entire transformation happens. Now, when that starts, if you have problems like, I got a gift, कितने का है? 200 रुपए का, 400 रुपए का गिफ्ट वापस देना चाहिए. I got a gift for 200 rupees. Now I have to give back 400 rupees gift to the person. What is the problem here? Unable to accept love. If you get something, you have to give back. The urge to give back is too high. What does it show? A very contracted heart chakra, not able to accept love. The gift is not necessarily meant as a thing to be bargained on, or barter system. It was just a token of appreciation, but you're not able to take that. The next thing, what happens? Some people only want to take. A very beautiful example. In a day, आज सुबह से 6 बजे तक, how many times did you say, I want it this way? आज खाना ऐसा बनना चाहिए था, ये क्यों नहीं डाला, मुझे ये पसंद नहीं है. How many times during the day did you use the word I wanted it, I need it, I want it like this, this is what I like. If there were too many I's during the day, the Manipura chakra is very strong and the Anahata chakra is very weak. If you didn't have too many I's, then you know that somewhere there is a balance. Okay, so too much of taking is a problem. Too much of giving is also a problem. Now, some people tell me, "Oh, I want to be a giver." I say, "Okay, that's a good thing. You can give, you can donate. But if you want to donate and you want a receipt or you want to show you are putting it in the groups, then that's not giving. That's not wholehearted giving. When you give, you don't expect anything in return. In simple terms, people don't like to hear that, but you're ready to become a doormat. आएंगे, पैर साफ करेंगे, चले जाएंगे. No issues. But if you have issues there, then heart chakra is a problem. The give and take has to be balanced for them. The expectations are the key in heart chakra. We expect things from everyone around us, right? From your children, from your family. I need an apology. I want an apology. I want an appreciation. मैंने खाना इतना अच्छा बनाया बट किसी ने नहीं देखा, किसी ने नहीं बोला कि खाना अच्छा बना है, किसी ने खाया ही नहीं, ऑर्डर कर दिया घर पे बाहर से. मैं आज इतना थक के आया, किसी ने नोटिस नहीं किया. Appreciation or expectation, these are the two things that struggles your heart chakra. And if you want to know that if there is a problem with your heart chakra, very simple. Do you have any bronchial issues? सुबह एलर्जीज है, सुबह उठ के नाक में अच्छी अच्छी. इफ यू आर इन बैंगलोर बहुत होता है, नॉर्थ में आई डोंट नो, बट जनरली if you have allergies in the mornings, heart chakra is a problem. If you have bronchitis, asthma, anything related to your lungs, then it's a problem. If you have heart diseases, blood pressure, cholesterol high, lymphatic system issues, all of that is heart chakra. So these all problems together, we know that, okay, I need to look at how I give and how I take. Am I able to take? Am I able to accept? Am I able to receive? Am I able to give? When I give, do I have expectations? Do I need appreciation, acknowledgement? Do I need them? Do I demand it? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. And now moving upwards to the pit of the throat here, where your thyroid glands is situated, is your throat chakra. The throat chakra, the Sanskrit term is Vishuddhi. I love this term. बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से नाम दिया हुआ है. विष की शुद्धि, clearing out the poison, unveiling the truth, removing the ignorance. These are all the explanations given towards Vishuddhi. Now, what happens? From which age does this become active or become more dominant? From the age of around 34, 35 to around 46 is the age when your Vishuddhi is at dominance. What is the general behavioral pattern when you see at this age group? One is done showing off to others. Generally, this is general. Okay. One is ready to say, okay, this is what I am and this is how I am. Problems hai mere mein, I can accept it. A general sense of acceptance come into picture by the time you reach this age group. Like 36 के बाद ठीक है, मतलब गलत है, सही है, जो भी है, I know that मैं गलत हूं, मैं सही हूं. What are we doing at that age? You're actually trying to tell truth to yourself, right? So ideally after 36 years, you should not be lying much or rather lying at all. You shouldn't have the need to do that, right? But this is not what happens. We'll still see people lying. अब बोलेंगे कि नहीं ऑफिस में झूठ बोलना पड़ता है. ऑफिस में झूठ बोलते हो शरीर में दिक्कत होती है. गले में खराश होती है, शोल्डर में तकलीफ होती है. So anything related to your throat, your glottis, your sound, your thyroid functioning.
It's 7 o'clock.
Sorry about that. Your thyroid functioning, your cervical pain, your shoulder, shoulder blade, arms, fingers, carpal tunnel, heart arthritis, all of that is your throat chakra issues. Unable to communicate to self and communicate to others. कोई भी कम्युनिकेशन है वहां पे. नाउ सबसे बड़ा कम्युनिकेशन कहाँ होता है? यहां होता है. दिन भर यू आर टॉकिंग टू योर सेल्फ. कभी कभी तो मतलब एक ही जन, मोस्टली एक ही जन होता है. एक अंदर होता है कॉन्शियसनेस, एक आप होते हैं वो, और वो कॉन्शियसनेस आपको बोल रहा है सही कर रहा है गलत कर रहा है. कभी कभी तो दो दो दिमाग भी होते हैं. सो यू आर एक्चुअली थ्री. So there is right brain saying something, left brain saying something, you want to do something else, and there's so many chaos happening in the mind. So what is this chaos? Is it crown chakra, or it's basically your throat, you're talking? There's a continuous communication that is happening. Continuous communication. And when this communication has lots of ifs and buts and because and everything has justifications, and you say no, I know. मैं generally एक example देती हूँ हर class में, मतलब मेरे classes में, कि there is a difference between saying I am angry and I know I am angry. If you're angry, if you say I am angry, कभी ना कभी anger problem solve हो सकता है, ठीक है. But if you say I know I am angry, that can never be solved, because आपके लेफ्ट ब्रेन ने, लॉजिक ने बोल दिया है कि you know everything. The moment you know everything, फिर कहाँ से? And that is the reason today I don't have a PPT. Generally when I do a webinar I have a PPT. The problem is when you put a PPT, no, people have already read through, अरे ये तो मुझे पता है, ये तो मैंने पढ़ा है, ये तो मैंने सुना है. Then there is no learning, because you know already, you know everything. So when I know everything, why will I learn? So when I know this, then why will I change? I know I'm an angry person. Good. I am angry. The moment you say I am angry, that emotion is coming out. You don't believe me? Try doing it. 50 बार बोलो I know I'm angry, I know I'm angry. The more you say I know I'm angry, ego is getting flourished. The more you say I am angry, थोड़ी देर के बाद रोना शुरू होगा, चिल्लाना शुरू होगा, मारना शुरू होगा, सब शुरू होगा. Emotions बाहर आने शुरू होंगे. That's the beauty between I know and I am के बीच में. दोनों मणिपुरा चक्रा के स्टेटमेंट्स हैं, लेकिन एक ईगो बोलता है और दूसरा सोल बोल रहा है. So the communication here with you is very important. And when I am giving examples, if you see, communication जो होता है ना, वो सिर्फ आपसे नहीं होता है, या फिर जो भी मैं कर रही हूँ वो नहीं है communication. What I'm saying right now is not the only communication. Communication with my root chakra, if this is balanced, no, most of the other chakras will also get balanced. Why? Because with my family, what is the problem? Communication. With with my spouse, with my children, what is the problem? Communication. With me, my identity, what is the problem? Someone has written here, Isha has written self love and acceptance for your Manipura chakra, awareness ke sath. What is the self love and acceptance? You should be talking to yourself and having that self love and acceptance, no? So that is again communication. Heart chakra kya hai? Give and take. When you're talking about it, when your expectations, aap bol paate ho aapke expectations, communication better hai. You don't say expectation, you expect the other person to understand your expectation. So much of confusion. No communication, impaired communication. So everything comes here. So ये सारा चक्रा जो है यहाँ आके शुद्धि होता है, and only then the person can reach here. But आजकल उल्टा चलता है. Everybody wants to open the third eye. I remember one of my classes, teacher के सामने student, मेरे एक colleague ने पूछा, classmate ने, कि मैम we want to learn how to open the third eye. बड़ा ही सरल और सुंदर जवाब दिया था टीचर ने. टीचर ने बोला था कि दो आंखें जो खुली है पहले उससे तो देख लो अच्छे से, फिर थर्ड आई को खोलते हैं. And that actually hurt the ego of the person. But to reach here, one has to get balanced here. If you can't talk clearly, and accept yourself, accept things around you, how will you open up your third eye? Now we come to the third eye. What is this beautiful third eye everybody wants to open up? You'll get magical powers. सुपर कॉन्शियस पावर्स मिल जाते थर्ड आई ओपन करते, कुछ नहीं होता है. The only thing that happens when your third eye, which is your intersection of your at your pineal gland, so जगह का स्पेसिफिकेशन ये होता है कि ये जो टिप ऑफ योर आईब्रोज है वो अगर स्ट्रेट लाइन ड्रॉ किया जाता है तो आपका सुषुम्ना नाड़ी जो है, शांभवी जहां पकड़ते हैं, ये होता है. उसके ऊपर इंडेक्स फिंगर अगर आप डालोगे वहां पे आपका थर्ड आई है. यहाँ से ऐसा सीधा एक लाइन ड्रॉ करेंगे, यू विल गेट योर पीनियल ग्लैंड एंड दैट इज वेयर योर थर्ड आई इज सीटेड. Now, what is happening when the third eye opens up? You are able to see things clearly. That's the only thing that happens with the third eye. Now, when I say see things clearly, you are able to see through things. जो 46 के एज के बाद खुलता है, ideally by 52 to 56 हो जाना चाहिए, but then we know that there are still people at age 60, 70, 80 still struggling with it. Now, when I say see through, how do you see through? When somebody comes with a, fight, somebody is coming to fight with you. You will not engage in a reaction. उसने कुछ कहा, मैंने कुछ कहा. ऐसे नहीं होगा. It will be, उसने कुछ कहा, आपका होगा response. क्यों कह रहा है वो वैसे? What happened? He is in trouble. You're able to see through his problems. So generally, if you see, elderly people, we always say, maturity. What is this maturity? थर्ड आई खुल गया, क्योंकि वो इंसान देख पा रहा है, अच्छे से क्लियरली देख पा रहा है, तो हम बोल देते हैं कि मैच्योर है. सो द थर्ड आई इज ऑल अबाउट सीइंग थिंग्स क्लियरली. बैलेंस है, राइट एंड लेफ्ट के बीच में बैलेंस, गुड बैड के बीच में बैलेंस, लाइक डिसलाइक के बीच में बैलेंस. ऑल ऑफ दैट इज थर्ड आई. It is not about getting supernatural powers. If you are doing your kriyas properly and you do your kundalini jagran properly, maybe you will get powers. I'm not denying that. There is a sense, sixth sense aata hai, wo sab hai. I'm not denying that. But that's not the primary aim of doing this practice. The primary aim of is, are you able to see things clearly? या कोई कुछ बोल के आता है, are you getting very excited, intensity बढ़ जाता है, and are you going and barging into the conversation? How does it happen? So these are the things that you ask yourself, looking at your own behavioral trait. Now, a simple thing, your eyesight is third eye. So दो चश्मा पहनते हैं, third eye में problem है, ठीक है? Your head is a problem, like headaches, neural issues, neurological problems, your ear issues, losing hearing abilities, all of that comes under the third eye. जॉ के नीचे थ्रोट चक्रा है, जॉ के ऊपर सो साइनस वगैरह वगैरह, ये सारी चीजें, माइग्रेन, हेडेक्स, ऑल ऑफ दैट कम्स अंडर द थर्ड आई चक्रा. So if you suffer from these issues, then you know that okay, you're difficult to see through. Now, if you look at now these chakras, no, you will see that सब connected है. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई आपको सिर्फ एक ही चक्रे पे काम करना है, ऐसा कभी नहीं हो सकता. हो भी सकता होगा, पर मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा है. When you are looking at all the chakras, एक बैलेंस करते करते अपने आप सारा बैलेंस हो जाता है. अब ये बैलेंस कैसे करते हैं? I come to that question. Crown, I'm not talking much because crown is 3 fingers above your head and it's right at the center of this where you do your Shirsasana. Now, यहाँ पे ये चीज ऐसी है कि क्राउन हमेशा ओपन रहता है, कभी बंद नहीं होता है. द एनर्जी इज ऑलवेज फ्लोइंग थ्रू, प्राणा इज ऑलवेज फ्लोइंग थ्रू. आई वांट टू जस्ट कीप इट दिस वे दैट सिंपल एग्जांपल मैं बताऊंगी, मैं एनलाइटमेंट वगैरह पे नहीं जाऊंगी. हम बहुत सिंपल सी एक चीज बोलते हैं, ब्लेसिंग्स. वी जनरली से नो यू आर ब्लेस्ड, यू आर लकी. What is this lucky and blessing? Nothing but energy. You're getting some sort of support. That energy, the universe is always supporting you. Somebody said you're going to become bedridden, but you're not bedridden today. You're getting up and doing all your chores. Blessing. Energy is flowing in. Something that has to be worked upon is inside your body. So 6 chakras is the chakras that you need to work. ये 6 पे काम कर दिया और 7th will automatically start flourishing. That will automatically happen. You're always going to be blessed. But if these are fully clogged, सारे इंटरसेक्शंस है, सारे ऐसे मेजर जंक्शन ट्रैफिक सिग्नल्स है, गाड़ी इधर से आ रही है, उधर से आ रही है, सब जगह से आ रही है, पूरा जैम होके पड़ा है, तो प्रॉब्लम तो होगी. So clearing up these clogs is what you should be looking at. Now, how do we do that is the next question. So something that I've been practicing since years now, and something that I've been teaching my students, I've been working on it. So I generally take this process little differently. पहले पहले क्या होता था कि directly chakra practices कर लेते थे. What happens after that is when you directly practice certain practices, that there are these are all kriyas, potent kriyas, strong kriyas. Now what happens is when you're doing strong kriyas, there are strong emotions coming out. Sometimes they just create a huge amount of imbalances. Somebody says she has a fibromyalgia here. People who have fibromyalgia, because I have fibromyalgia, so I understand. When you have fibromyalgia kind of diseases or any autoimmune diseases, you'll see everything flares up. Okay, so my personal experience, I don't do chakras anymore with my students directly. I prepare the mind and the body energy before we get into the chakra practice. So the first thing, you need to work with your mind, and the best way to work with your mind is start working with 6 enemies, arishta vargas. You work on them, kama, krodha, mada, moha, matsarya. You work on these 6 elements of 6 enemies of your mind. You get some sort of awareness. Okay, so jab emotion उठ के बाहर आता है, you're not lost with the emotion. Second thing is that you practice with your energy levels. So there are a lot of pranic energization techniques that we do, and there is a lot of sound energy rising that you do, and you balance your body. So you balance your body, mind, then you start with. So at least it takes 3 months. The 3rd month is when you enter into the chakra practices. Okay, if you wanted to work on specific chakras. So this is a brief explanation of all of that, how to identify. Now I'm ready for questions.
Can you quickly explain the 6 elements that you just talked about?
The Arishtavargas are basically Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. Kama is desires. Krodha is Kama, Krodha is anger. Lobha is greed. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Madha is pride. Matsarya is jealousy, and Moha is attachment. So these are the 6 things that you need to work on with. First, understand where you stand in terms of these 6 elements. See, these 6 enemies, they are known as 6 enemies of a human being. So you identify where you are, and then you start working. नहीं तो आप sacral chakra पे काम कर रहे हैं, guilt बाहर आता है, and then you are like drowned in depression. That doesn't work. So first, you should be able to face some sort of honesty to yourself, and then you start with the practices. Yeah. Thank you, Isha. I hope I made sense.
So Priya is asking, many problems are age related. Which chakra will you categorize them?
So many problems are age related. Generally, my understanding is that age related problems are like you have bronchial issues when you are till 8 years. Uske baad it is digestive issues from 8 to, sorry, not till 8 years. Bronchial issues till 16 years. 16 ke baad digestive issues hote around 55, and 55 ke baad aches and pains hote body mein. Ye natural, how do you put it? Natural growth or growing old ka ailments hai. If you just have those and you take your medicines and all of that, you should be okay. The problems arise is not when you are looking at age related problems. The problems is if you have something in your body for more than 4 years. Okay, you've tried hell-bent to get it cured by visiting multiple doctors, doing everything possible, because most of them are self-doctors today. They've gone to so many doctors and done so many research on Google ki sabko pata hai sabke sath kya karna hai. After doing everything also, 4 years ke upar agar aapke body mein koi bhi aches, pain hai ya koi bhi disorder hai, then it is not literally age related. There is a concept of mind also there. So it's not specifically chakras. I've given the areas that you should look. If you think that, okay, it's my leg which is a problem, then probably root chakra is where you're looking at. Sciatica problem, root chakra. If it is digestive, then Manipura chakra. If it is heart issues, blood pressure बढ़ रहा है, तो heart chakra. So like that, I've given the explanations with respect to the organs of the body. So you can look at that way.
So I think most of the things that you've talked about, people were asking questions earlier, and they've all sort of got answered now. Um, Mr. Khurana is asking if the relationship with parents or siblings change after one gets adulthood. Kindly advise. So I think this has already been addressed. That how 0 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 25, 25 to 36, and 36 onwards, so how they progressed. So I think there's an answer to that, anyways. And the reason I'm sort of intervening right now is that I want people to once again, one last. Do you help rectify health problems? If yes, how do you help? So, Isha, you can get in touch with Divya directly, and you can also join her programs, her retreats. She's already done one retreat in Gir with us in Gir National Park, and the next one is going to happen in Feb. But you don't have to wait that long. And if you want to get in touch with her, Divya, would you mind putting your number in the chat so that um,
Sure, I'll do that.
and then you can always message her. She's uh, you know she usually replies within 24 hours if you send her a message on WhatsApp. And
As
this is
I'll just say I do take classes. I take personal classes also for very chronic ailments, and there are already running few batches. If it is yoga that you're looking at, we can look at. If it is counseling, then I do that too. So yeah.
and yeah. So I think that's about all that people are asking, and I'm going to quickly show one slide presentation to you to see what our clients are talking about.
Yeah, so these are some of the um, feedbacks I've received after the chakra class specifically, not the regular classes. So people have benefited in terms of identifying their flaws. And as I mentioned, the target was not that. The person has also identified, started appreciating the joys of life rather than focusing only on the problems. So it's about balance. It is not to find problems. That's something that I want to focus on. It is not about problems. It is about how do I create a balance between me and my body and my mind.
Yeah, this is another slide. So that's sort of um, I did one retreat with Divya this monsoon, and it was a real eye opener because she's a yoga therapist and she's not just a yoga trainer. She knows the nuts and bolts of the system. How to take you forward. And usually she does small groups in a retreat, like a small number of people, let's say uh, 12 to 15, sort of thing, so that she can give personal attention to people and help them with their ailments, through her own methods of asanas and pranayama and whatever that she does. And these are effective. If you take those home with you, then you will slowly start to peel off those layers of illness or unhappiness or question marks that you have in your mind to gain clarity. And this is what has happened with me when I did her. I was also the organizer and I was also a participant in her class. So then I requested her, I said, please come forward and let's do this again in Feb. But in the meantime, I really urge you to connect with her directly so that, not to lose time. Get on with your life. I am on a mission to help people to start with their inner journey. If they haven't started with their inner journey, they must start with their inner journey because that is where The truth is not in your outside things. You can have land and buildings and material things and children and family and everything. But if you are not there for yourself, then nothing else works. Where is your being is what you need to constantly check. And that is where, Divya, you will have as a friend of yours helping you out.
Yeah, we'll just end with one Om and three Shantis, and if there is anything else, we can continue. Bring your hands in Namaskara Mudra with all the gratitude towards all your family, your friends, your teachers. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So, Punitji is asking, is any session
I
currently happening
Yeah,
to
I
balance the
just finished one session. Now, for the next session, we are starting from Jan the preparation. From mid December, we'll start the preparation. As I mentioned that you can't directly work on chakras. It is not advisable because there have been many negative impacts of directly working rather than having positive impacts. So there are practices I mentioned, right, about the Arishta Vargas, then sound. Energization. So Akara, Ukara, Makara we work with, and then there is pranic energization technique. You need to build your body and mind to be able to work because these are very potent energy centers. You can't just play around and then feel everything is gone haywire. That is the general thing that happens. So we don't want to go there. We'll build ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, energy wise, and then move into it. So if you are interested, mid December onwards, we'll start with the Arishta Vargas, and January we take the energy, and then February we can do I would prefer a retreat because it's very important to be there when you're doing these practices, or else we can do online also. I do take classes online.
Great. And tomorrow, people who missed out will get the replay link. And I'll also put your number and your coordinates in the email to them so they can get in touch with you. And, you can mentor them as you go along. Thank you very much, Divya. बहुत बहुत आपका धन्यवाद और बहुत ही मजा आया और and this has clarified a lot of my doubts and thank you for being here. We'll do another one a few days later, a few
Yeah.
weeks later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Bye-bye.